Good afternoon. This call to order the August 31st meeting of the Licensing Subcommittee. With us today are Councilors O'Connor and Henry, and myself, Kathleen Hill, as well as committee member Aldo Fazio. The first item on the agenda is to approve the July 20 minutes of this subcommittee. You've all received those last week, and if you've had a chance to look them over, I will entertain a motion to approve them unless there are any recommendations for additions or corrections.
I move to accept.
I second.
I third.
The motion's been made and second. I'm getting rusty here. We haven't met in a while.
Yeah.
Made and seconded. Further discussion? Hearing none. Again, we have to do roll call votes because we are meeting remotely. Tom?
Yes.
I will be a yes. Aldo?
Yes.
And Pat?
Yes.
That to those minutes are passed unanimously. Okay, the second item on the agenda is a discussion about a license transfer request that came before the council last at our last meeting on, help me out here guys, September 8th.
Yes.
That's our next meeting.
Oh, September, yeah, see? I can't remember what month I'm in.
Well, I'm sorry. That's what you didn't say that. That's right.
When did it come before us? August 22nd? Does that make sense? Was our last meeting.
Where's the minutes?
Our last meeting was the 11th,
11th, okay.
August 11th.
All right. So at the August 11th meeting, the council listened to a request for a transfer of license from the beer shop in town to another entity who wishes to obtain the transfer of the license, but conduct the business at is it 464 North Main, which would be, if I might have the number wrong, but it is the Stop and Shop Heritage Plaza. And the location of the proposed business is in the now vacant Olympia Sports space. The council, and I should start by saying the typical paperwork was in order. There's a specific form, or forms I should say, that an applicant must fill out that come from the ABCC, and all of that information was in order. The council engaged in a discussion for a bit and ultimately decided during the public hearing to table it until the September 8th meeting, which will be next week, and seek an opinion from our lawyer, Jesse Belcher-Tim, regarding can an establishment ask for a transfer of a license and have the license now be in use at a different location than from where it currently resides. Am I saying that correctly, Tom and Pat?
Yeah, that sounds correct, Kathy.
Yeah. At the same time. Yep.
Yeah.
At the same time. Historically, our council has, for the most part, unless there was something outstanding or untoward about an applicant's paperwork, has historically approved transfer of license. But without exception, it has been for, Tom Brown to transfer to Joe Smith, who's going to do business on the same premises. And some of the nature of the debate amongst the council was, is this truly a transfer? Because the location of the business is not going to stay at the beer shop. The location of the business is going to be brand new in a different location, still in town, but with a different owner and at a different location. So is that a transfer, or is that in fact a new request? And because we were unsure of how to proceed with it, we asked for our attorney's opinion on it. And I want to read that to you now. Mary McNally explained that to me last week, but I asked her to write a quick summary for me, which I can transfer to all of you in a little bit. I just got it this morning. I spoke with Jesse last week about the transfer of the beer shop license and change of location pending before the town council. He advised that the requests, both the transfer itself to a new licensee, and the change of location can be considered and approved simultaneously. I asked specifically about the town council's need/duty to vet the applicant and consider the new location. He indicated that any and all relevant questions can be put to the applicant within the single petition/application. The licensing authority does not waive any right to examine the new petitioner with respect to its experience, management, understanding of liquor laws, etc., or to discuss the advantages or disadvantages of the proposed location when proceeding with this format. As I read that over earlier today, I'm not sure if I still see a clear opinion there. I think the council knows that we have the right to approve or deny any license. We also have an obligation to vet properly any licensee application, and we know we can do that. The question is should this be regarded as a transfer, or should the council look upon it as a new application? In either regard, however we take it up, I don't think there's any intent or any sentiment by anyone on the council to say, no, we don't want this applicant to have a license and conduct business in town. I'm of the opinion that regardless of how we move forward, whether we say deny transfer and ask them to come back to us as a new applicant, or approve transfer, since we have in effect vetted this applicant and his attorney represented him at the meeting, I don't feel the council has enough merit by the application to simply deny it entirely and not give the individual an owner to submit a new application. So what I would like to say to the owner is, either way, the odds are pretty strong that you're going to come away with a license of what you're looking at. It's just how we treat you as the licensee. Anybody else want to give their 2 cents? Pat?
Thank you, Kathy. Yes, I would point out that the parties to the transfer and the 2 parties to the location change are the same parties. Therefore, there wouldn't seem to be any reason why the 2 transactions could not be done at the same time, since the parties are identical. Number 2, we already ascertained, and the lawyer agreed, that this is fine in terms of Massachusetts ABCC law to perform both at the same time. And third, we are supposed to be in the process of helping our businesses succeed and helping them do the things that are necessary as long as they fit within our laws and don't hurt our town. And to me, the idea of postponing this for the argument that it should be broken into two pieces is just rolling a log in front of the transaction unnecessarily. So I move we recommend to the town council that this process be done simultaneously.
I second that.
Thank you, Aldo.
Move that the process be done simultaneously. I have to be the recorder today because Jeannie is setting up for the primary. Move to be done simultaneously. Pat and Aldo.
Now,
All right.
Kath,
I know you're writing it, so you probably can't see
No,
my
I
hand.
can see your hand. Motion's been made and seconded. Now more discussion. Tom?
Yeah, my discussion would focus around, during the initial process of paperwork that we received, which was quite extensive, was there a new application submitted with that transfer?
As I recall, and when I say there's several pages to the application, there was actually 83 pages to it.
Yeah.
I scanned, I read probably the first third of them. A lot of the subsequent pages are boilerplate. But to answer your question, the biographical data that is required in the application has been submitted, but it came in as part of a transfer. It did not come in as new application. So the same information is likely to be there if we said to the individual, could you just come over and resubmit as a new applicant? The end result that you need will still be achieved, but would you be willing to come over and just resubmit as a new applicant? Does that help you?
Yeah, and I've got a follow-up question to that. So since this is just, if I may, this is just a transfer of a one-year current license. So it expires at the end of December.
Correct, in 4 months from
So
today.
they would have to file new paperwork and an application for us to extend that for
year to year,
year.
right?
For 2021.
Yes.
So we're really only talking about a few months here. And, you know, I guess given that and the fact that the application process has been completed according to the town's requirements in the ABCC, I guess I'd, be okay with it for now.
I just had a quick question.
Sure.
Is the business name changing, or is it still going to be called the beer shop?
No, the business name will change, and forgive me,
Owners, everything is changing.
the name
Yes.
of the owners is different, and the name of the business is different. And I apologize, I don't have that name in front of me, but the beer shop as this entity will cease to exist once this transaction is complete.
Now, and the gentleman or the entity that's opening at the old Olympia Sport will be operating in the same parameters, correct? As a beer shop, spirits, things
Yes.
like that.
Yes,
Okay.
that
And
was my understanding. Wasn't that your understanding, Tom and Pat?
Yes,
So it's
a full liquor license package store.
okay. So does it fall under the package store license or the retail beer and wine?
Both.
No, it's-
Well, no, the full beer and wine and spirits.
Okay, so because typically I thought the beer shop didn't sell spirits.
They
No,
didn't, but about 2 years, maybe not quite 2 years ago, they asked for we had a slot opened and they requested it. And it
Yeah.
was,
Oh, okay. I wasn't aware of that. I thought they were only retail beer and wine. So I feel that as long as the business is going to operate within the parameters of the license that it was being used previously, as a business owner, I feel that it's like Pat said, you kind of have to help these people start their business and work with them a little bit. And I feel that we'd be spinning our wheels if we had them fill out a new application. You said this is going to go till the end of this year. And then they're going to be sent out the forms for the renewal. And
Right.
at that time, we'll have the new application.
right.
I-
Actually, the renewal process, Jeannie says they start that in October. And Albert, you know that. You get
Yep.
your packets and you have till December 31st to pay the fee and get it approved.
Now, by going through the process of a new applicant isn't going to change anything other than it's what, like you said, you're still going to reach the same end result. So I feel at this point, why delay this gentleman more time to open his business than it's really required? I think it's, like Pat said, we'd be spinning our wheels on that.
Okay. Pat, you had another question.
Yes, for the record, Kathy, it's CPM Liquors will be the name. C is in Charlie, P is in Peter, M is in Mary Liquors, doing business as Heritage Plaza Liquors.
Okay.
So the owner is CPM, but the DBA is Heritage Plaza Liquors, 406 to 436 North Main Street. That's why you couldn't remember what
Yeah,
the
right.
address was. 406 to 436 North Main.
Thank you for that.
That's from our motions.
You're right. Right. Good. Any other discussion then?
Mhm.
So it seems for a variety of reasons that each of you have pointed out different points to consider. The consensus appears to be that as long as we are assured that the licensee is operating within the parameters, and we have no reason to believe otherwise, should that happen after anyone is granted a license, well, then there are other ramifications that could be put in place if necessary. But taking it at face value, this applicant is going to go forward within the parameters. And since we're 2/3 into the license year, it seems most prudent to go forward and approve the transfer at the next meeting. Am I summarizing that correctly?
I'm
You have
okay with that.
Do you have the motion?
I don't. I was just giving a summary.
Okay.
I'm going to ask. I'll
I
entertain.
want to be sure we have the motion appropriately.
All right, Pat. It sounds like you're ready to make one.
Well, I did.
Tell me again.
Okay. I move that the license committee recommend to the town council that the transfer of the liquor license and the location change for the beer shop be handled as a single transaction.
Yeah.
Subject to all the normal requirements of a new licensee.
I think it was already seconded by Aldo, though.
Yeah,
This
so
was
we were in
discussion,
Yeah,
right?
I second
Yep.
that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So is there any further discussion? Hearing none, then we'll move to a vote. Tom?
Yes.
Aldo?
Yes.
Pat?
Yes.
And I, in this case, will be a yes. So the motion passes unanimously. And this matter will appear on the council agenda for next Tuesday evening. And I'll make the report to the committee and recommend that we approve the transfer. The recommendation of the subcommittee is to approve the transfer of ownership and the move to a different location as one request, and that we should go forward with it at that time. Is there any other business that needs to come before us right now? No, I like to hear that. No other business. So that said, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn, and I thank you for coming together on such a nice afternoon when you could all probably be mowing your lawns or squeezing in some last summertime before the back to school mentality for all of us kicks in.
Great.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
I motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Tom,
Yes.
Aldo,
Yes.
Pat,
Yes.
and I am a yes. So the motion passes unanimously, and we are adjourned now at 2:26. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy.
Everyone.
Have a good day, everyone.